The reason you're here is that you're wondering, what is the Pied Piper PSI tool and what can it do for me, right? Good. Let's talk about it. Every day, customers visit your dealerships, but 70 to 80% of them leave without buying. Your advertising and marketing efforts worked. They came, but then you lose most of them without a sale. The easiest way to increase your sales and profits is to turn a higher percentage of customers that are already coming to your dealerships into buyers. What if there was a simple way to turn more of those shoppers into buyers? Well, there is. You can improve your sales process. Not only will a successful sales process sell the product, but it will also sell the salesperson and your dealership. And the result will be more shoppers turning into buyers. In order to improve your sales process, you must first need to somehow measure your current sales process. That is, how effectively your sales team sells. So how can you do that? How can you identify your sales team's strengths when compared to other dealerships selling the same brand? And also identify dealership weaknesses so that your sales team can improve their sales process and increase their sales. The answer is Pied Piper PSI, a unique patent-pending mystery shopping program. Pied Piper PSI sends mystery shoppers into dealerships to measure how effectively your sales team sells when a customer visits your dealership. PSI stands for Prospect Satisfaction Index. The strength of PSI comes from a foundation of science and mathematical facts gathered from real customers nationwide to objectively determine what is really important to an industry's sales process and what is not. Our unique scientific approach allows PSI to then use mystery shoppers merely as fact gatherers. So instead of relying on mystery shoppers to tell us what they think is important and what isn't, they are simply reporting the facts of what happened to them at a dealership. The PSI approach is the only one that provides national benchmarking for every auto and motorcycle brand to allow your dealerships to measure how they compare to the average results of other dealerships nationwide who sell the same brand. PSI does not tell you how your dealership should sell. Instead, we report the facts, show you your dealership's strengths and weaknesses, and allow your dealership to use these facts to decide what is the best path for them to take to improve themselves. So how does Pied Piper PSI work? Manufacturers, dealer groups, and individual dealerships use PSI to, first, measure your dealership's sales process. Then, compare the dealership's sales process to the benchmarking average of other same brand dealerships nationwide, which lets you identify the areas of your dealership's sales process that are most in need of improvement. And that lets the dealership improve its sales process and sell more vehicles. After a PSI evaluation has been completed, the results are emailed directly to the dealership. Plus, Pied Piper PSI users can access all of their historical performance online, as well as the PSI Best Practices community, where they can see the ideas that have worked well for others for every aspect of the sales process, and take advantage of these hard-earned lessons learned by our client community. So does it work? A manufacturer client who used monthly PSI evaluations for all of its US and Canadian dealers shared some interesting statistics after the first year with us. Those dealers who paid little attention to their sales process saw their PSI scores drop by 10 points or more, and they also saw their sales drop 6% during the same time period. On the other hand, dealers who paid close attention to their sales process and managed to improve their PSI scores by 10 points or more saw their retail sales increase 9%. This manufacturer client said, and I quote, "Poor performing dealers who use Pied Piper PSI to act like a great performing sales dealer soon become a great performing sales dealer." PSI evaluations are not only easy to use, but are also easy to afford. For example, most locations in the United States cost about $100 per evaluation. PSI evaluations easily pay for themselves through increased sales. Pied Piper PSI is actually a profit center, not an expense. So, how do you get started using PSI to improve your sales success? If you work for a manufacturer or dealer group, call or email us today to start turning more shoppers into buyers. Or if you work for an individual dealership, just click on the yellow button on our website to learn how you can get your first PSI evaluation free.